You don't know or you don't want to say?
So we don't have that. I don't personally know.
Right. What does that mean? Have you asked, Brian?
Rules.
I think Wednesday you said you're going to look into that.
So, Hallie, the president doesn't check all of his HIPAA rights at the door just when he becomes president. The doctors obviously share fulsome information with the president. The president shares a great deal of information with the American public. We have gone through numerous briefings with the doctors, half a dozen memos from the doctors, his daily vitals we put out yesterday. We've had briefings with the chief after interacting with the president. We've had Kayleigh come out and talk. I am now speaking with you about all the information we can share. But just because he's president doesn't mean he shares every single detail of his entire life. But we do share enough information, certainly for public health purposes. Yeah.
So it's a privacy thing then, the reason why you're not saying the last negative test? HIPAA?
So that is one reason. The fact of the matter is there's a reason to share certain information. It's to prevent further transmission of the virus. It's public health purposes, and that's what we're doing.
Got it. But you just said a couple of minutes ago that you would share the results of this PCR test today if you get it and if that happens. So what's the difference? Why not be more transparent with people about this last negative test? You know there is a public health reason for this, and it impacts the people who were potentially exposed to the virus before the president was diagnosed. Why not be transparent about that specific, very specific piece of information?
So, Hallie, I stated we'll have further updates from the doctors. We've had updates from the doctors every single day. We've had numerous updates per day.
Nobody's answered this question that I know, have they?
Extremely transparent. But I'm not sure why you're very focused on that question, because it's not something. But it's not something that has the public health value that the other information we're releasing does. That's why we're releasing information in the interest of public health.
Okay, I think medical experts would absolutely disagree with that about the public health value, because the reason, as we've talked about ad nauseum, and as I think you know that is important, is because it determines the potential exposure for other people. Brian, people that you work with prior to the president's diagnosis. You are not saying when the president's last negative test was. Let's be clear about that. But let me ask someone else.
But the president was socially distanced from people. Certainly, you focused a lot on the New Jersey event. Everybody there said he was never within 6 feet of anybody.
Brian, we have video. We know the president wasn't socially distanced from everybody.
But
that's not true. We've seen video of the president over the weekend, Brian. We have eyeballs.
But we're talking about when he was showing symptoms or had a test. We're talking about Thursday, and so we're talking about the proximity of time where he might have been transmissible. That is what we're talking about.
Right. He was on the plane with people on Wednesday night, for example, just to use that as an example. So that is why this is important. Let me ask you this. Did the president at least comply with the Cleveland Clinic debate requirements to be negative tested in the 72 hours prior to that debate? Was that
you are
was the
very
president
focused on looking backwards. The president is very interested in getting back out on the campaign trail.
I'm very focused on getting an answer to this question, Brian, and I think a lot of people
as soon as he is not going to be transmitting the virus, we will have information on that. He is excited to do it. He can't wait to get out and interact with the American people in a safe way. And by the way, he can't wait to debate Joe Biden. And the Presidential Debate Commission changing the format unilaterally was a very bad idea. There will be no medical science-based reason to change the debate. So we should get the two candidates on stage. They can separate just as they were in the first debate, and they should face off before the American people live and in person.
Got it. So as for the last debate, the 72-hour requirement to test negative, did the president comply with that? Yes or no?
Hallie, we are looking at how the president can get out there without transmitting the virus, and that's what we're going to do.
That is not the question that is in front of you, Brian. So do you not have an answer? I just want to be clear. I know. Again, yes or no? Do you have an answer?
Hallie,
and if you don't, just say you don't have an answer.
You've got time to talk to the White House about very important issues. Let's talk about how we want to help people get through this virus with more stimulus that the speaker seems to ignore. She's now talking about the 25th Amendment because she couldn't get the president with impeachment.
Well, that is not actually the topic of this conversation, Brian, because as you know, All right, Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you again. Critical piece of information. One of your colleagues just yesterday told me that it was a fair question and that you would try to give us the information on that. Was hoping that you'd have that for us today. Certainly hope that you'll come back with that. Brian Morgenstern, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you.
So Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump actually tested negative with COVID-19, but yet we still don't know the condition of Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually tweeted, "Crazy Nancy Pelosi is looking at the 25th Amendment in order to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris. The Dems want that to happen fast because Sleepy Joe is out of it." The House Democrats introduced a bill today to establish an independent commission under the 25th Amendment to evaluate a president's health and oversee the transfer of power to the vice president if the president becomes incapacitated while in office. So Pelosi introduces this bill under the 25th Amendment for commission to evaluate fitness of future presidents. So this won't affect the term of the president for this term. However, Dr. Connolly did tweet. Well, he didn't tweet. He released a statement under the permission of President Trump. Since returning home, his physical exam has remained stable and devoid of any indications to suggest progressions of illness. Overall, he's responded extremely well to treatment without evidence on examination of adverse therapeutic effects. Saturday will be day 10 since Thursday's diagnosis, and based on a trajectory of advanced diagnosis to the team has been conducting. I fully anticipate the president's safe return to public engagements at this time. So we still do not know the outcome of whether or not he's positive or negative. Under the statement, it says today the president has completed his course of therapy for COVID-19 as prescribed by his team of physicians. This afternoon's vital signs were heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, pulse, oximetry. So there's different rates and results that are involved, but we still do not know the condition of the president, which really is the reason why Nancy Pelosi is trying to make the next term less fatal for the American people by applying the 25th Amendment for the House. And I'm hoping that this goes through because this is very important. The White House has not made public the details regarding the president's coronavirus tests in the days leading to his diagnosis. It is not known when Trump last tested negative before becoming infected, and officials have not definitely said when Trump first tested positive. Dr. Connolly's memo Thursday also did not say whether Trump has tested positive after finishing therapy. Secretary McCanney also did not reveal whether the president had yet tested positive, instead of reporting that Connolly told her, and I quote, "There are medical tests underway to determine Trump's contagiousness. Rest assured that the test will show that it is not transmittable. He won't be out there if he can transmit the virus," which I really don't know what that means. The American people do not know what that means. We need leadership. We need trustworthy. We need honesty in this White House. And you guys, please do vote on November 3rd so you can protect your right as an American citizen and protect the rights of this country. And so we can go back to the conditions that we had, where we had normalcy, where we had leadership, where we had sympathy that we had within the last administration, the Obama-Biden administration. And please just go and vote. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces. Yeah.